Hey guys, this is Rocking3 bringing a live commentary Forza 5, and today I am trying to fulfill a request on a 95 Cobra Mustang on the Alps track. So I got some good news and I got some bad news. Good news is it is a very fast car. It'll be very competitive in multiplayer. Bad news is it is not going to be the leaderboard attack car. And not that it isn't good, it actually is a really good car. It is really quick. I actually like this build, and this build will work on a lot of tracks. However, it just will not compete against the WRXs or this Mercedes 190E that is actually my own. It's really fast, and it's only like top 325 or something like that. This Cobra does pretty good on the top end and on the acceleration. And it holds its own on the handling part too. Doesn't lose any ground there. But that Mercedes with the rally engine that I ran back in, I think it was February, it's just so difficult to beat. It's so difficult. So anyway, we'll finish up this lap and we'll do a parts and tune video on it. It actually is a really good car. It'll be very useful on a lot of tracks. You just can't take it to like a car dominant track like this one, where almost all of the top 300 are WRXs and Mercedes-Benz 190Es. So he hangs in there pretty good. It's actually pretty easy to drive. I got this dialed in pretty well. That's why I would anticipate it would work on a lot of different tracks, not just this one. Alright, so you can see that we're still a good second and a half off. It just is not going to beat those Mercedes on that particular track. But if you take this out on multiplayer and those that aren't using WRXs and Mercedes-Benz, you'll do pretty well. Very consistent car to drive. I'm excited to actually take it out and try some other tracks with it that isn't just beat down by a particular car or two. I did change the wheels on this. I did change the tune quite a bit, so I believe I've posted this car before. So this is really going to be a retune. I would imagine if we look at the leaderboard, I could get it in the top 500, but I would not be able to get in the top 250 or the top 100. So just keep that in mind when you take it out on the track. Alright, so let's go through this parts and tune real quick. This would be kind of a revisit. We have the stock engine, we have the stock drivetrain, we have the centrifugal supercharger upgrade. I would imagine B-Class. You can see I tried a lot of different combinations there. So far everything's going to be stock. I'll let you know when... Oh, there we go. We have the sport cams. 35 horsepower for 29 PI. We have the stock valves, stock block, stock pistons. We have the sport centrifugal supercharger upgrade. That was 27 horsepower for 19 PI. It's a good accelerating car. We have the stock intercooler, the stock flywheel, and it just keeps the oil and cooling, which will be stock as well anyway. That's not usually a part that I try out too often. We have the race brakes. We have the race spring and dampers. We have the race front and rear anti-roll bars. We have the full race chassis and roll cage. With a full race weight reduction. We have the stock clutch. We have the stock transmission, which keep in mind that may limit you on some tracks. This is just a 5-speed. Top speed is still pretty high, but just keep in mind that you will not be able to adjust it, and you will lose a lot of PI. 3 PI is actually quite a bit at the B class. We have the sport drive line. We have the race differential. We have the full race tire compound. And it just skipped again, but we have the full upgraded tire width in the rear. We have the stock front tire width. I did change the wheels up a little bit. I just went with a different look. I have these Momos 10S. Oh, I didn't know I did that either, but they look good. I have the upgraded front rim sides at R19s. I'm okay with keeping those in the middle. I need a little bit stiffer sidewall. And I did the same in the rear. We got R19s in the rear. Alright, we have the front arrow, Forza arrow. It just keeps skipping here. We have the rear Forza wing. We have the stock rear bumper. We have the stock side skirts. We have the saline hood. Looks like we lost 6 pounds on that, and it looks really cool. So that's all the parts. You could do a combination with the weight, with the hood, the wheel, the rim size, the rims, and the driveline as well. So if you wanted to make a different combination of that, understood. Tune, we have 26.5 front and rear, pretty standard for me. We have the stock gearing, we're good there. Alignment, we have pretty radical here. We have -3.5 in the front, -3.5 in the rear on the camber. We zeroed out the toe, and we have the 6.0 front caster. Anti-roll bars are set to oversteer, 9.42 and 15.11. Actually works pretty good, it dives in pretty well. I did change this springs a little bit. It was set to oversteer a little bit more. I kind of evened them out a little bit more. 493.3 in the front, 520.4 in the rear. Took the ride height up to 6.0 because it came stock at 5.8, but I moved it up because the Alps has a couple of spots where you ground out your car. So this one's going to be a little bit different. I wanted to turn in and continue to turn in, so I actually lowered my rebound stiffness in the front to 9.8. That was 11.7 before. So a little bit of adjustment here. We have 9.8 in the front, 11.7 in the rear. Bump stiffness is still my standard 1919 that I got from Raceboy. Full aero, and you can mess with that depending on what type of track it is. I did full aero on the Alps just because there was a couple turns I wanted to make sure I make to continue to have momentum. My standard braking, 47% and 200%, and differential pretty stock for me at 40% and 32%. You could actually probably move this up a little bit if you wanted the engine to slow down the car a little bit more, but it's pretty steady. So give that car a try. I know I tested it out on the Alps. I think it'll work really well. Kind of an all-around vehicle. Let's call it that. Just make minor adjustments per track. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Catch you next video. Later.